Oregon America pageant, held tonight at West Lynn High School Performing Arts Center. Please rise for the national anthem as performed by Aiden Neplock. Of our national anthem. Who will be the new Mrs. Oregon America? We're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Oregon 2016, Helen Anderson, and the 2017 contestants competing for the title of Mrs. Oregon America.
So just dance, dance, one of these lovely ladies will be crowned Mrs. Oregon 2017. Let's meet our contestants.
Oregon, I am your Mrs. Washington County. Mrs. Eugene.
Welcome, I'm Courtney Cleaver, Mrs. Willamette Valley. Representing Oregon's beautiful beaches, Amy Petter, Mrs. Central Coast.
Presentations, I'm Janelle Monaghan, Mrs. Lane County.
Good evening, I'm Misty Anderson, Mrs. Baker County.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Springfield, Jennifer Williams.
Acknowledge Erin Waller, Mrs. Southern Oregon.
Welcome to Westland. I'm Heidi Pop. This is Clackamas County.
Ladies and gentlemen, our MC for this evening is Stephanie Kralovic. Stephanie hosts KPTV's morning lifestyle show, More Good Day Oregon, weekdays at 9 a.m. She and her husband, Chris, have a 4-year-old son named Cooper. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Stephanie Kralovic.
Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. What a great looking audience. And boy, do we have 9 gorgeous women out here vying for the title of Mrs. Oregon 2017. And we can't forget the gorgeous 2016 Mrs. Oregon, Helen Anderson. Let's get a big round of applause for this lady. Okay, so Patricia tells me you ladies have been working really hard getting ready to prepare for this evening. You look great. I love the dance number, and I'm so excited to see what's next in the pageant. How about one more round of applause as we send them back to the backstage to get ready for the first round of the competition. Thank you, ladies. You look fabulous. So, you guys are a great audience so far. We got to hear folks cheering for each contestant. This is judged on audience participation. No, just kidding, it's not. But we'll break down what it's based on coming up in just a bit. So let's practice. Who's your favorite contestant? Can I hear, can you guys yell out your favorite contestant? Okay, I'm keeping score up here. So now that you guys are warmed up, let's hear it one more time for the current reigning Mrs. Oregon America, the one, the only, Helen Anderson. So good to see you.
Thank you, good to see you too.
Okay, I've loved getting to know you over the past couple of weeks. How does it feel to be just about done with your reign as the 2016 Mrs. Oregon?
Well, I have about probably an hour left of my reign, so it's a little bit sad to see it coming to an end. But I see my future as a supporter and the biggest cheerleader of all for Mrs. Oregon 2017.
So what has the past year been like?
It's been busy, and I have to tell you, I wouldn't be able to have done half of the appearances without the support of my family. My dad and Kathleen and my mother-in-law, or really my mother almost, Eva and Dell, who are my in-laws, they have stepped up and just been amazing babysitters, and just every detail that I've needed help with, they just stepped right up. So I'm very grateful.
Tell us what was most memorable for you about Nationals.
Well, I would say definitely having my family there. My husband really deserves a huge pat on the back because my 3 kids came to Las Vegas. They're 9, 11, and 4, and so that was kind of a superhero's undertaking right there. But it was really great to be on stage with 50 other ladies and all the lights and all the excitement and knowing that my kids were out there.
You know, the first time I interviewed you, it was taped, not live, like this. And I was so amazed by your beauty and your poise that I totally forgot to ask you. I was just impressed, like, oh, she's gorgeous and she has 3 kids. I don't need to know anymore. She's just stunning. But you're also a nurse, a business owner. You are so many things, and we are so lucky to have had you as Mrs. Oregon for the past year.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, and I think as I represent married women in Oregon and across the nation, I think this as married women, we all wear so many hats. We're all, we're cooks and we're housekeepers, plus we're balancing checkbooks and running kids around, we're master schedulers. And so I think that as I represent the women of Oregon and the world, I think that's probably pretty typical. So I'm very proud to be counted as one of those multi-hatted women. Just like you. Just like
You blow me
Teresa.
away. No, I have one and done. You are very impressive, and I love getting to know you. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
So we're going to hear more from Helen in just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Helen Anderson, one more round for Mrs. Oregon America 2016. She really has done a lot this year, and she's been working on behalf of working moms to transform more time off from work, paid time off for moms who are on maternity leave. Her story is a really incredible one. So the pageant and contestants have been working to raise funds for a fabulous face contest and the cause Victoria's Voice. Have you voted for your contestant yet? Anyone? The competition is still on. The Mrs. Oregon Facebook page has the GoFundMe link, as does the program book on the inside back cover. The contestant who has the most donations for this worthy cause will be the winner, will be announced at the end of tonight's show. We will be accepting votes throughout the show. Once all phases of competition are complete, we will notify you voting has stopped and then tally the votes. The winner of the contest will receive a day of pampering, including a massage and facial, courtesy of the Mrs. Oregon pageant, as well as lunch with the director. Our new Mrs. Oregon America is going to receive $250 for her National Fabulous Face competition. So now that you're all warmed up, let's introduce you to the people responsible for selecting this year's Mrs. Oregon America. It's not an easy task to undertake. The judges met early this morning with the judges chair, Michelle Winder, and then were able to meet each of the contestants in person during the individual interview process. Each contestant had 5 minutes with each judge to answer questions presented, similar to a job interview. And this is really where pressure is on, because the interview phase of the competition totals 50% of a contestant's score. And if you're wondering, the remaining is 25% for beauty and 25% for poise and personality. So let's meet this year's panel of judges. These are the folks who will be making the decision on who is Mrs. Oregon 2017. We are so excited to have this first judge here. Mrs. America is here in the flesh. It's Natalie Lutmer. She's judging today. Natalie, welcome up. I can't wait to meet you in person after this. Very cool to have Mrs. America here. First of all, congratulations on winning at Nationals. Mrs. Moses Lake, she was Mrs. Moses Lake, Mrs. Washington 2016, and is currently the Mrs. America 2017. And, this is awesome news, she placed in the top 10 at Mrs. World 2016, competing as Mrs. America. We're so lucky to have her here and welcome today. Natalie's lived in Washington for 25 years now. She grew up with a strong interest in drama and music. She learned to play several instruments in her youth, and she was a member of the nationally award-winning Moses Lake Drill Team and is in the WSDDCA Hall of Fame with her team. Natalie's experiences throughout her life have shown her determination, dedication, and perseverance. She enjoys cooking, baking, party planning, interior design, modeling, and family game night. Natalie and her husband Landon have been married for 4 years and have, get this, she's Mrs. America and she has 7 children. Wow, this is impressive. Carter, age 16, Byron, 14, Meredith, 10, Grayson, 9, Scarlett, 7, and this is mind-blowing, a 3-year-old set of twins, Asher and Pierce. She did reign as Mrs. Washington and then won Nationals with, boy, a big family. That's impressive. Hats off to you. The Lutmer family enjoys spending time outdoors, hiking and camping in the beautifully diverse landscape of Washington, and Natalie says she always knew she wanted a large family. She enjoys spending time with her family and involving them in her volunteer work. She's involved in her community and state. Her mother has always said Natalie was blessed with a giving heart from the time she was a young child. She's a board member of the Moses Lake Public Library Foundation and assisted in organizing its yearly fundraiser, Bagels for Books. Sounds delicious. Natalie co-organized a mother-daughter tea party with all proceeds benefiting benefiting the Victoria Seagull Foundation, her heart was touched by the great need for organizations that support families and youth affected by substance abuse, which is why she chose Substance Abuse Awareness as her community service platform. One of her favorite quotes is by Charles Dickens: "No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of another." What a great quote. Thank you so much for being here, Natalie. I need to learn the wave, too. I'm from Gresham, so my wave's not very good. Okay, Jack Nelson. Jack is a fifth-generation Portland native. He served for 4 years in the Navy on board the destroyer USS Lassen in San Diego. Attending the University of Oregon after his service, he earned a BS in human physiology and worked as a personal trainer and fitness instructor for many years in Eugene, Oregon, before resettling in Portland, where he lives with his wife Gina and dog Samson. Jack is a natural bodybuilding competitor who enjoys family time, being in the gym, cooking, playing basketball, and listening to and playing music. This is where we ask him to flex. No, I'm kidding. We'll go on to the next one. Thank you for being here, Jack. Oh, he flexed! I saw it. Thank goodness for the spotlight. Okay, so now it's Angela Renhard. Angie, thank you for judging today. She lives in Aurora, Oregon with her husband, Brian, and she has 3 wonderful children and 3 amazing grandchildren. What? You do not look old enough to have grandchildren, but apparently you do. Angie works full-time as an insurance adjuster and part-time as a fitness instructor and values work-life balance and living a healthy lifestyle. She enjoys camping, biking, riding on the back of their Harley, and has received her scuba diving certification this month. She loves spending time with her family and strives to learn something new each day. I'm starting to feel guilty about all the Reese's peanut butter cups I ate before coming home. There were some back there. Okay, next up, our next judge, Landon Lutmer. Landon Lutmer is an assistive technology professional with Norco Medical, and he works closely. There you are, Landon. Hi. Thanks for joining us. He works closely with medical professionals in providing mobility needs for patients of all ages. He specifically finds joy in providing mobility for pediatric patients, helping them increase their quality of life. His excellent customer service and sales skills make him a standout in his field. He enjoys spending time in the outdoors and once completed an overnight solo hike through the enchantments in Washington. That's impressive. He's been married to his wife Natalie for 4 years, and together they have another impressive number here, 7 children. Hats off. Upon marrying Natalie, he was thrust into the world of pageantry and his wife's biggest supporter. He holds the honorary title of Mr. America. He is Natalie's husband. I guess I maybe should have mentioned that part too. But he's Mr. America. He jokingly refers to himself as Captain America. Thank you for being here, Mr. America 2017. Very cool. Okay, up next, Michelle Scott. Hi there, Michelle. Thanks for judging tonight. Michelle Scott is a mother of 3 boys, aged 7, 12, and 14, and she lives in West Lynn. She works part-time for Tierra Resource Consultants as a marketing manager. She's a successful sales, marketing, and event management professional with more than 8 years sales and marketing experience. After getting her degree in communication from the University of Colorado, Boulder, Michelle started her career in advertising at a small ad agency in Austin, Texas, working in account management. Agency clients included Dell Computer and other small local businesses. Subsequently, Ms. Scott worked at Sports Illustrated magazine in San Francisco, California, supporting the advertising director in the sales department for 2 years. Her clients included Adidas, Nike, Apple, and Levi Strauss. Michelle worked as an account executive for an advertising agency in Seattle, whose main client was Westin Hotels and Resorts. Currently, she supports the consulting team at Tierra in marketing and public relations, recruiting efforts, event planning, and web development. Michelle enjoys watching her boys play sports and hiking, stand-up paddleboarding, travel, cooking, reading, and spending time with friends and family. Thanks so much, Michelle. Tonight, our judge's chair is Michelle Winder, and her husband and 2 children live here in the West Lynn area. Helping as the auditor tonight is Sheila Hafterson. Her husband and 2 children live in Oregon City. Thank you to all of you for helping out tonight. The job you have this evening is going to be a tough one. I think we're ready, though, for our first phase of competition. Judges, are you ready? Okay, good. You guys already won Mr. and Mrs. America. You must be ready. Okay, audience, are you guys all ready? Let's welcome back Helen Anderson. What's the latest? Oh, wow, you look stunning.
Real quick change. Thank you. I think they are ready backstage. The ladies are wearing swimsuits provided by the Mrs. Oregon pageant. Ladies and gentlemen, the parade of swimsuits.
So this is the first area of competition, and this portion, as you heard, makes up 25% of a contestant's overall score. This is the swimsuit competition.
Our first contestant tonight is Carrie LaFay, Mrs. Washington County.
Carrie is 5 feet 6 inches tall. She is 49 years old and has been married 25 years. She has 5 children. Carrie loves a good book, discovering great recipes, spending time in the woods, archery, hunting with her family, and riding with her husband on his Harley. She is most proud of her family.
Thank you, Mrs. Washington County. Next, we have Mrs. Eugene, Janet Dillon.
Janet is 5 feet 2 inches tall, 51 years of age, and has been married for 3 years. She has 2 adult daughters and 1 teenage boy. She loves spending time with her family outdoors, biking, hiking, tennis, playing pickleball, doing yoga, basketball, and gardening. Janet is most proud of her daughters, Tiffany and Christina, her son RJ, and her husband, Dr. Robert Dillon. She's won many beauty pageant titles and talent competitions on local, state, and national levels. She's also served as a judge, an MC, a pageant director, and is a professional singer.
Thank you, Mrs. Eugene. Mrs. Willamette Valley, Courtney Cleaver is our next contestant.
Courtney's 5 feet 5 inches tall, 39 years old, and she's been married for 16 years and has 3 children. Courtney's hobbies include long-distance running, playing soccer, beachcombing, and volunteering at her children's elementary school. Courtney is most proud of her marriage to Josh and their 3 amazing children. With them, she says life is exciting and full of love. She's also proud of her work in giving back to the March of Dimes. Courtney and her husband's oldest son, Liam, is alive today thanks to the March of Dimes and the research it funds.
Thank you, Mrs. Willamette Valley. Up next, Amy Petter, Mrs. Central Coast.
Amy is 5 feet 7 inches tall. She's 32 years old and has been married for 7 years. She has 3 children. Amy enjoys all the great outdoor activities the coast has to offer. Beachcombing, backpacking, and photography are just a few of her hobbies. She's very proud of the role she has in the restoration project of the 93-year-old Liberty Theater in downtown North Bend.
Thank you, Mrs. Central Coast. Next we have Mrs. Lane County, Janelle Monaghan.
Janelle is 5 feet 9 inches tall and is in her 30s. She's been married for 15 years and has 2 children. Janelle enjoys playing basketball, traveling, sending postcards and letters to her friends, writing in her journal, and getting to see the world. She's most proud of the fact that when her feet hit the ground in the morning, she recommits to giving her all to her work and to everyone around her. She's continually working to improve the life of her multi-generational family and working to help students with special needs get the support necessary to live an enriched life. She adores the fact that her children are a solid sibling team and that they have kind hearts.
Thank you, Mrs. Lane County. Next we have Mrs. Baker County, Misty Anderson.
Misty's 5 feet 9 inches tall and is 33 years old. She's been married for 13 years and has 3 beautiful daughters and 1 exchange student from Japan. Misty enjoys sewing, painting, and refurbishing furniture to adorn her 1880 Victorian home. Misty is most proud of being a wife and mother. She's also proud of overcoming a 3-year battle with depression and is now an active advocate for those suffering from mental illness.
Thank you, Mrs. Baker County. Let's welcome to the stage Mrs. Springfield, Jennifer Williams.
Jennifer is 6 feet tall and 42 years old. She and her husband Steve have been married for 16 years and together they have 3 beautiful children. Jennifer is an avid photographer. She considers herself the family historian, taking thousands of photos of their family life each year. While hiking, baking, and browsing for antiques make the list of her favorite things to do, Jennifer most enjoys watching and supporting her children's endeavors and coming home to enjoy a family movie night. Jennifer's most proud of the commitment she and her husband share toward their marriage and family and the amazing, kind, and talented children they are raising.
Thank you, Mrs. Springfield. Our next contestant is Mrs. Southern Oregon, Erin Waller.
Erin is 5 feet 4 inches tall and is 32 years old. She's been married for 5 years. She enjoys cooking, creating new fresh meals for her family, and finding a great wine pairing. She also loves spending time with her parents, hunting, fishing, and taking her family hiking. Her husband introduced her to road biking last year, and they love to take rides to breakfast downtown. She's most proud of her family's health and active lifestyle and their continued resiliency as a blended military family. Work trips and relocations are never easy, and we want to thank her husband for his service.
Thank you, Mrs. Southern Oregon. Thanks for your service.
Yeah, I guess I should include that. Whoops, my bad.
That's what I do.
Yes,
Routine.
exactly.
Our last contestant is Mrs. Clackamas County, Heidi Paw.
Heidi's 5 feet tall, 44 years old, and this June will be married to her best friend Kalani for 13 years. A hobby that she enjoys is planning and hosting themed parties to entertain close friends or family, or ohana. Recently, she renewed her passion and dedication to a personal and intentional yoga practice. Today, Heidi is most proud of her ohana. It is through their love, she says, and their support and blessings that she attributes her continued professional success and personal achievement.
Thank you, Mrs. Clackamas.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our first area of stage competition. Please give those ladies a warm round of applause. So, Helen, do you think those contestants are happy to be done with the swimsuit portion?
I think so. It's fun to show off all your hard work, but next they get to change into gorgeous dresses, so that's always a lot of fun.
Oh yes, the dresses. I can't wait. So what was your favorite part of the competition a year ago?
I love the sisterhood, the relationships that we create with each other backstage and everything leading up to the pageant. And even after the pageant, that's why I do them. It's a lot of fun.
I have to say I was backstage with all of you guys, and everyone's like, so it's like everyone's buddy and friends. It's not a competitive, like, the vibe you would expect behind the scenes of a pageant, right?
It's not competitive at all. Everybody wants to do well, but everybody wants their friends to do well too. So whatever we can do to help each other out and boost confidence, that's what we're doing.
Helen Anderson, thanks so much. We'll let you head backstage, and we'll see you back here again later. Oops, as I about pull off her dress. I'm just full of bloopers tonight. Okay, so at this time, we would like to share some information with you about our charity for this year, Victoria's Voice. I think you'll agree it's a worthy cause. The scope of the drug abuse issue is inescapable, and it touches everyone in our country. An estimated 24.6 million Americans aged 12 or older have used an illicit drug during just the past month. This epidemic is particularly detrimental to the lives of our children. Most people use drugs for the first time as teenagers. Every day, more than 3,600 kids age 18 and under try an illicit drug for the first time. That statistic is terrifying. Another way to think about it, almost 130 people die every single day from a drug overdose. It is a national crisis. Through the Victoria's Voice Foundation, the Mrs. Oregon pageant is taking aim at reducing drug experimentation, addiction, and overdose deaths by supporting legislation to encourage locking up prescription medications, as well as legislation for the co-prescription of Narcan and implementation of a policy platform for random drug testing. Stand with us as we fight this epidemic that is robbing America of an entire generation. We'd like to remind you again, you can make a donation to Victoria's Voice on the Mrs. Oregon GoFundMe site that is linked on the Mrs. Oregon Facebook page or on the program book. Make sure to indicate the contestant you are voting for. The Fabulous Face competition will continue after intermission. The contestant who has the most funds raised in donations for Victoria's Voice will be the winner and will be announced at the end of the show. The winner of the contest will receive a day of pampering, and the new Mrs. Oregon America 2017 will receive a funds match for her national Fabulous Face competition. We also need to take a second to thank our many sponsors that make this whole event possible. A slideshow of our sponsors was played before the pageant, and it'll play again at intermission. Also see all the sponsors in our program book and at the Mrs. Oregon website. Each contestant tonight receives a prize package worth more than $2,000, and the winner of Mrs. Oregon America 2017 will get a prize package worth more than $10,000. We'd like to personally thank and acknowledge our sponsors who are here this evening. First up, Michelle Boxell Gleason. This gal's amazing. Let me tell you, I've seen her work. She can do full hair and makeup in like 10 seconds flat. She's a celebrity makeup artist and hairstylist, and she donated her professional makeup to the winner of tonight's pageant for her photo shoot to help create her official Mrs. Oregon America headshot. Then Terry Popma and staff at the Glam Lash Boutique has provided discounts to the contestants and lash extensions to tonight's winner. Kristen with Vanessa's Flower, who provided our awards flower bouquets this evening, and Becca Wells with Lip Scents provided discounts to staff and contestants and products for the winner of the pageant tonight. Cody Zeitner with Dirty Mama's Slathers and Scrubs is providing Mrs. Oregon with gifts for nationals. And we would now like to invite Aiden Netbrock back out to sing a song for our next phase of the competition, Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars.
Oh, her eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know, when I compliment her, she won't believe me. It's so sad to think she don't see what I see. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah, her lips, like a kiss in my day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates, but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know, I'd never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just say the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
hear it for Hayden Nutrock. What a voice. So now it's time to bring Mrs. Oregon 2016, Helen Anderson, back out for our next phase of the competition.
I understand that we are now ready for the evening gown portion of the competition. This is 25% of our ladies' overall score. Once this area of competition is complete, the combined total of interview, swimsuit, and evening gown will be added to the interview score.
That composite score will determine the top 3 contestants tonight. All contestants will answer their on-stage question, and the top 3 contestant scores will be added to those preliminary scores, and that will determine the new Mrs. Oregon America 2017. Let's start the evening gown competition.
Let's do it. Let's welcome Carrie LaFave, Mrs. Washington County. Carrie has brown hair and green eyes. She serves her community by working with Meals on Wheels and helps the homeless. Carrie met her husband through her roommate. When she first met her husband, she opened the door and he said hello. She knew Rick was the guy she was going to spend the rest of her life with. She just knew he was the man for her. Carrie and Rick were married at Oaks Park Pioneer Church 25 years ago. Thank you, Mrs. Washington County.
I like Rick's response too. That was awesome, Rick. Congrats on 25 years. Up next is Janet Dillon, Mrs. Eugene. Janet has blonde hair and green eyes. She's passionate about helping others, and she actively volunteers at the Eugene Mission on a weekly basis. She also sings and performs for charity events with her husband, who is a master fingerstyle guitarist. Janet met Robert through a mutual friend on Facebook. Who doesn't meet that way these days? When he was looking for a singer, she auditioned for him with the song Landslide. He was so happy with her angelic voice and felt an instant connection that he surprised her with a sweet kiss. A few months later, they were married in her dream Sunset Beach wedding. Thank you, Mrs. Eugene.
Our next contestant is Courtney Cleaver, Mrs. Willamette Valley. Courtney has blue eyes and dark hair. Courtney's community service and involvement include the following: neonatal intensive care parent advisory board member, speaker and advocate for the March of Dimes for Babies and Signature Chef's Auction, Pew Charitable Trust's advocate, and super mom for the prevention of antibiotic resistance. Sherwood Youth Track Coach and Eddie Ridge Elementary Parent Volunteer. Courtney and her husband met while at Oregon State University pursuing their undergraduate degrees. Courtney says she has always known that her husband Josh was the one for her. His character and humor are his most attractive features. She says we enjoy each other's company and make each other laugh. In the long, adventurous days of raising 3 young, spirited children, silly humor, a good laugh, and a full glass of wine can go a long way. Thank you, Mrs. Willamette Valley.
So our next contestant is Amy Petter, Mrs. Central Coast. Amy has red hair and blue eyes, and she's very involved with theater arts in the Bay Area out at the coast. She serves on the board of directors and several committees of Little Theater on the Bay. She volunteers at the Sprague Theater in Bandon and with the North Bend High School Drama Club. Like many Pacific Northwest couples, Amy and her husband Michael met at a coffee shop. The poor man didn't know what hit him. He was completely swept off his feet, of course. And Amy knew Michael was the one for her when she realized his spontaneity was an excellent counterpoint to her analytical and metered manner, making him her ideal mate. Thank you, Mrs. Central Coast.
Janelle Monaghan, Mrs. Lane County. Janelle has blonde hair and green eyes. She's a volunteer coach for the Lady Falcon basketball team of Elmira High School and a supporter of her children's preschool. She has worked with local educational service districts through grant writing and through holding professional development seminars. Janelle met her husband James at Willamette High School when they were both throwers on the track team. One day their usual warm-up partners were both absent and they had to warm up together. Janelle was trying so hard to impress James by lifting heavy weights that she was sore for a week. Janelle knew that James was the one for her because she experienced a sense of tranquility when he was around. She instantly appreciated his zest for life and his sense of humor. Thank you, Mrs. Lane County.
Up next, we have Misty Anderson, Mrs. Baker County. Misty has brown hair and blue eyes, and she's excited to share her passion for helping those affected by mental illness as a family-to-family facilitator with the National Alliance of Mental Illness for Eastern Oregon. She also enjoys sewing pillowcases for children's hospitals to help brighten up their stays. On top of it all, she helps out in her children's school as a member of the PTCO. Misty met her husband Monty at a church dance when she was 16 years old. She knew he was the one for her when she danced with him that night, and again when they started dating 2 years later. Thank you, Mrs. Baker County.
Please welcome Jennifer Williams, Mrs. Springfield. Jennifer has brown hair and brown eyes. She volunteers her time at Bags of Love, an organization in her area that delivers comfort items to children in crisis. She also serves her community by cleaning the kennels every week at her local Humane Society and by helping out in the schools that her children attend. Jennifer met her handsome husband Steve at a backyard barbecue, and it was love at first sight. Although the two weren't brave enough to speak to one another, they later made a connection, began dating, and quickly became inseparable. She knew he was the one for her when she realized that he was kind to everyone he met, and the fact that she could eat more than him at Taco Bell and he wasn't offended. He has proven to be a devoted husband, dedicated father, and a hardworking provider for their family. And after 23 years, he continues to be her best friend and the love of her life. Thank you, Mrs. Springfield.
Taco Bell sounds good right now. Up next is Erin Waller, Mrs. Southern Oregon. Erin has brown hair and blue eyes. Erin's community involvement revolves around supporting her fellow military families and their spouses. Erin met her husband Daniel at a game night hosted by mutual friends. Erin knew Daniel was the one for her when he remembered her Subway order by heart because she was so sick she could barely speak. Also, he said, "I love you first." Thank you, Mrs. Southern Oregon.
Last up is Heidi Paw, Mrs. Clackamas County. Heidi is a brunette with brown eyes. She's a member of Soroptimist International Lake Oswego and West Lynn Club and Durga Tree International Oregon Chapter. She participates in community events that promote health, wellness, and positive self-development. The story of Heidi and Kalani began 16 years ago in Honolulu at Aloha Gymnastics, where Kalani coached. She was practicing her tumbling skills for a fitness competition when he saw her struggling on the floor. Realizing she needed his coaching, he approached her, and soon after, their love story began writing itself. Thank you, Mrs. Clackamas County.
Well, Helen, that does it for our evening gown competition. Any favorites so far?
I love them all. I don't think I could choose a favorite. I do not envy the judges.
I do not either. They have a tough job ahead of them. At this time, we're going to take a quick little intermission. During intermission, would any former Mrs. Oregons please join us in the hallway, stage left. We'll see you back here in the auditorium in 10 minutes.